Right, let's talk about the paintballs that are going to be used. We'll be using clear fill, clear shell paintballs, which are manufactured by Powerball under their Sterling brand. This is a paintball that at Shoreline we've been working with Powerball for at least 2 years now to develop and perfect. And it is by far the only credible clear ball in the market that I've seen. I've used this ball in -14 degrees temperature in Bridge last year, and I've used it at nearly +40 degrees in a game of running Croatia, and the ball has been flawless each time. Why clear shell, clear fill? Very, very straightforward. It's part of my contract with the Ministry of Defence that we're not allowed to use any coloured paint. As I've mentioned loads and loads of times, this is an operational training facility, and it's a very, very high end, which you'll see with your own eyes when you get there. With all due respect to some of the other events in the UK who might use MOD facilities, those venues are crap, so the MOD doesn't mind them getting covered in paint. This is very, very different. So it's part of my contract that we have to use clear shell and clear fill. The ball performs in exactly the same way that any other paintball performs. It's got the same accuracy, same distance. And when it hits you, it leaves like a wet splodge. It's not like it's invisible. You can clearly see when you've hit somebody or when you or any of your kit has been hit. You can't use any, if you've bought clear paintballs at any other events recently, you can't bring those into this event. Two reasons for that. Number one, and there's no point getting away from it or pretending otherwise, there's a financial reason. The money that the traders and the organisers make by selling the paint pays for all the Humvees and the venues and everything else that goes into this event, and so essentially it's like going into a restaurant and taking a picnic. It doesn't last very long. The other reason being is that there are other clear paintballs out there. There are even clear paintballs made by Sterling, and they're not the correct formula that we can use at this venue. Okay, so even if you bought Sterling paintballs at even a recent event, you cannot bring them to this event because there's a potential that those will still stain. We'll have security on the site anyway, so anyone who tries to bring in any paint will quickly be turned around and escorted off the site, and that'll be the end of their Tipman challenge. The paint is being sold. Shoreline got nothing to do with the supply of paint for this event. It's being sold by BZ Paintball. Those guys have been taking pre-orders for months and months and months now. I believe the deadline for ordering and paying for paint has already passed. So if for some reason you have not pre-ordered, you need to get on the phone straight away to BZ or getting on the email to them and seeing if they can add your paint requirement at this very, very late stage. They may be able to help you out, they may not be able to help you out, but you do need obviously paintballs to play paintball game. So if you haven't pre-ordered and haven't paid for your paint yet, get on the phone to BZ, see if they can help you out. It's my understanding that there will be a small amount of paint available on site to buy on the day, but very, very small amount, and I think they expect that to sell out in the first hour or two anyway. So please don't assume that you'll be able to just rock up and buy your paint there, because that's not the case. Why does it all need to be pre-ordered? Very, very straightforward. The clear paintball is clearly not really any use anywhere else. People don't use it in woodlands or anything like that, and so it needs to be made specifically to order for this event. So we need to know how much to tell the manufacturer to make. It's as simple as that, and that's why it's all been pre-ordered. That'll be made over the next couple of weeks now, and then it'll stand and settle in the heated environment at Sterling's factory, and then transported in their big juggernaut to the event, where BZ will keep it under heat in that juggernaut and hand it out to you. I believe BZ will be using a token system so that you only draw down the paint that you've ordered when you need it, but we'll release further details about that closer to the game. The clear paintballs are the same as any other paintball in as much as if you abuse them and don't look after them, their performance will degrade. So if it's cold and you leave a box of paintballs outside, or you just leave them in your tent or whatever, clearly you can't expect them to perform the next morning as they were designed to. And that's the same for any paintball at all. So your paint, if these are using a token system, I advise you only pull down the paint as you need it. If you're only going out for one game or you're only podding up, you don't need an entire box or 2 boxes. Just take 2 bags and try and leave it under heat as much as possible. If you do have excess paint, make sure you wrap it up in blankets or buy a space blanket or something like that. Or put your clothes over it. Try and keep it as warm and as good a condition as you possibly can. No first strike rounds at this event. clearly because they're not clear shell, clear fill. No grenades either, paint grenades, because again they're going to leave a coloured paint as well. Right, and let's talk about pyrotechnics. There are two types of pyrotechnics. There's a player pyro, which is the stuff that you can buy and use yourself and chuck around yourself, and then there's the big theatrical pyro, which is what we set off to enhance the games. Let's talk about player pyro first of all. Firstly, this event is event pyro only, so don't try and bring in pyro that you bought elsewhere or other brands, because security will be sending you on your way. The pyro packages are pretty cheap. We've done a deal with Enola Gay, who are pretty much the world's leading pyro specialist for paintball. So they'll have ring pull smoke grenades, they'll have flashbangs, and various bits and bobs, and you'll be able to buy those at the event, and you can buy multiple packages, and they'll be at pretty low prices. Pyros will kill in this game, so if you're in a room and somebody chucks in a flashbang, everyone in that room is dead. If you're outside and somebody throws a flashbang and it lands within 3 meters of you, you're dead. When you're dead, you go and respawn as if you were hit with a paintball. The player pyro needs to be over 18, and yeah, that's like, I think, on the player pyro stuff. The other type of pyro, the big theatrical stuff, is you won't be going anywhere near that. That's the stuff that's literally enormous explosions, huge fireballs. Shoreline have led the way in recent years, probably compared to anyone else in the world, have set off more pyro over the last few years than anyone when it comes to paintball games. And so expect an awful lot of big bangs, explosions, fireballs, all that sort of stuff. Our professional team will be keeping you away from any of the workings of that, because it will blow your feet off if you go anywhere near it. If you've got any heart conditions, or particularly medical problems to do with your ears, or if if you've got a weak bladder or anything like that, make sure that you keep away from the areas where obviously a large amount of pyro is going to be set off, particularly the theatrical stuff. It can, not anyone having a heart attack or damaging their ears or anything like that. A lot of paperwork. So yeah, keep your eye out for that, enjoy it, and I think that pretty much covers pyro.